Hello, everyone. This is Alex and Dydine.
Yep.
We're going to be doing this conversation with Consolee, our wonderful friend. Hey, Mignon. Thank you for joining. So we're going to be talking about stopping HIV stigma.
It's gonna help us out
Yeah,
here.
it's, I think.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi. Did you see me well? Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining today.
Yes,
So
Thank you for having me, really.
So for today,
I'm happy to be here. Thank you. I'm seeing
I know
everybody.
we're going to be talking on a very tough subject, but our
Yeah.
smiles never fade. So
Mhm.
No, never. Especially
No.
yours.
Of course, I will be mixing with smile. We'll be mixing with smiles. That's how life is. Life is, we're supposed to live. We're supposed to laugh and be happy. So.
Yeah.
absolutely, and
I
it's
agree.
and we can
Mhm.
choose to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something you taught me. Choosing to be happy, choosing to smile, no matter what.
Exactly. Thank you.
Circumstances.
Mhm.
So
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look wonderful, by the way.
You do. I
Thank
think
you.
I have the beanie on. I'm cold.
I love your hat, Alex. I love your hat.
Thank
All
you.
of you look fabulous.
It's very comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First 45 to an hour is going to be in English, and
Mhm.
then we'll come back in Kinyarwanda for our
Perfect.
for our Rwandan audience.
Yes.
But in honor
Hopefully,
of Alejandro here, we will be doing it.
Alejandro.
I'm learning.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Apologies,
The
we fell.
It happens.
recharging.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay.
Yeah, but like Dean had said, we are going to be talking about unstigmatizing HIV. So we want to have more regular conversations about these topics that are considered taboo.
Mhm.
Like many things on this planet and in life, the more we talk about it, the more we understand it, and the more empathy
Right.
and compassion we can show towards people who are affected by whatever we may be talking about. But today we are talking about HIV. And I want to start by reading a paragraph from your book, Test It to the Limit by Consolee Nishimwe.
Thank you.
Anybody who is unaware. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to read this paragraph. It says, there are so many women who were brutally and repeatedly raped and impregnated or infected with HIV, resulting in a multiplicity of physical, emotional, and social trauma. They are deeply hurt and have limited resources to deal with their pain. That's I feel like that paragraph alone sort of summarizes a lot of people's experience.
Right.
Outside of the sexual assault and the the violence of it all, a lot of people don't have healthy avenues to deal with their trauma. It's
Right.
one thing to go through it, but it's another thing to live with it and try to navigate a healthy way, obviously, to deal with it. So I kind of wanted to kick that off. I know it's kind of heavy, but talk a little bit more about that.
What comes in your mind when you hear what do you remember when writing this paragraph? It's called dealing with, I think it's, let me find it, it's this chapter, it's
dealing with emotions,
dealing with him,
struggling with emotions.
What comes to mind when you hear this, when you think about this chapter?
Yeah, as you were saying, it's not very easy to think about, especially going back. You just took me back in those memories. When I was writing, actually, that part, it wasn't very easy because I wasn't not necessarily thinking about myself. I was thinking a lot of women who are not capable enough to have the strength and courage enough to talk about that very difficult part of what they have endured during that time. Sexual assault and rape is not something that easy to speak about. So I feel them. I was carrying them. I was carrying each and every one of them in my heart. In that part where I was I was writing, going through in that painful part, I thought I was going to bury when it happened right after the genocide. So I thought maybe this is a part that I'm not going to remember. This is a part that I'm going to forget. But of course, I was carrying that within myself. So, but then when I had the courage to put it on paper, to just put it on paper on my own and crying back and forth and scribbling and back and forth and fighting with emotions and, in so many ways that I went through when I was writing that part. But I'm truly grateful that I had the courage, because it actually opened the door to accepting what has happened to me, and be able to open the door also to start a healing journey for myself.
How many years later?
It was 15 years. It took me 15 years to be able to get to that place where I really spoke about that, because I thought maybe actually that was the only thing that has happened to me during the genocide that I thought I was not going to talk about. So I thought maybe being far away from where that happened to me, maybe it would be a way to escape. That thought. But
those thoughts,
that was not easy, but I'm grateful that I was able to do that. So writing that, I wrote it on behalf of so many. So
thank you so much.
Will not be able to speak that.
Yeah. I mean, 15 years may seem like a long time, but
right.
Over the course of our entire lifetime, a lot of people don't, find that strength to talk about
right.
it. And talking about how you write it for others, for other people who may not have that voice. That takes strength as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Actually, I think the strength came from therapy, and also the people who have given me. Of course, through therapy, you meet people, the therapists, and everybody who has given me their time to listen, giving me kind words. So to me, actually, that have helped a lot. So. And that was also the reason why I was able to start that journey of writing. So, and actually, writing the book didn't only start in writing the book. It started from my journal. So I used to journal a lot. So, yeah.
So when genocide happened, you were 14, which is
I was 14 years old. Yes.
And your life changed completely from then. Did you start after genocide? Did you start journaling then, or you used to journal even before genocide?
No, I didn't start journal right after the genocide, like many other, people who have gone through traumatic experience. It's not, it wasn't not something that I was accustomed to until I came here, because I used to write. I used to love writing even when I was in Rwanda. It's not like writing and you have to write, but I used to love just writing things I was thinking about, things that were in my heart, because when my dad was alive, was somebody who used to teach me, how to, to speak. He was a teacher. So yes, my dad was a teacher. We used to talk about so many things, the stories, and he would teach me a lot of things about life, and just, at the age I was at that time. But then when I came here, I found myself, because I was far away, I found myself starting to journal, things. And of course, when I went to therapy, it became more, easier for me, because I was feeling like I'm allowed now to talk about things in a journal that I didn't want to think about anymore. So, yeah.
Did it feel safer to talk about it?
To a therapist?
Yes.
No, in the beginning, it wasn't very easy for me to open up to someone that I didn't know, especially culturally, that we're not accustomed to talking about, painful things. Culturally, we are not like that. So, but then when I found a therapist who made me comfortable, because I needed somebody who will make me comfortable to to speak. And it became easier. Of course, the first therapist was not easy for me
No, it
to
was.
open up, but yeah, when I found that other ones really helped. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Now because we were thinking today, we talked a lot before this interview, this conversation about HIV stigma. It's something that we don't talk about a lot, but it's happening all over the world sometimes. And through our conversations, it's one thing to find out you're HIV positive. It's another thing to experience stigma from the closest people, because the uninformed information that they have. How was it for you? How was it like for you experiencing stigma, and even before you had been able to go to see a therapist, because it must have been really hard emotionally to experience like internal things and outside things, you know. If you remember any moment you realized it was the HIV stigma that is happening to you in the society, do you would you share anything you may remember?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking me that. Of course, being HIV, living with HIV, it's not a very easy, even now,
No.
for those who are, even though we are in the era where we think people should understand about the virus. So, but stigma attached to HIV is still alive and well. So, and for me, at that time, when I found out that I was HIV positive, of course, what all kinds of struggle, the pain, and, I thought immediately, I thought I was going to be one of those people who are going to be marginalized in the community, in the society. And I thought all the things that I know that I was going to be told, because I was living with the virus. So as you can imagine, when right after I opened up about my, that I was living with HIV, of course I've heard things that were so hurtful, things that like I didn't want to hear. Even before I spoke about it, it used to hurt me to hear what people would say to others who are living with the virus. So and it, of course, in the beginning, for me, I was hearing from, the things the other people are being told because they were living with the virus. So unkind things, like, especially when you're a young woman. So you think, so many things, so many things goes through your mind. Nobody's gonna love me because I'm living with the virus. So my life is going to be different. I'm not going to live a life that is the same like anyone else. So, of course, there are people who have said things, unkind words, unkind things to me, and actually the stigma comes in many different forms. So, like, necessarily someone will come to you directly, they might say it in a kind of different way. So, that is very unkind. So, and to me, every time I heard something that was unkind towards me, I used it as a way to say, now I'm not gonna, this is not going to stop me living my life. I'm gonna find a way to continue speaking about it, to continue loving myself and loving, and never allow what I've heard to actually determine who I am as a person in the society. I'm not the virus. I'm Consolee, and I deserve happiness like anyone else. So, and I will use actually that as a way to educate anyone. If I get the opportunity to speak to that person, to educate that person so that they can change their mindset around the virus. So for me, I actually switched in my head how I want to live with my life. I want to love myself. I want to enjoy everything anyone else enjoys life in general, being loved. I can love who I want.
Yes.
I can choose who I want. So like anyone else. So when I changed my mindset, I think everything changed in my life. So,
That's the
I bet.
quote you like. You always tell me when
Yeah.
when you change the way you look at things, the things
And the things you look at
changes.
change. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that really hit hard
But that
for
also,
me.
like you said, that plays into how you can help people shift their perspective about HIV.
Yeah.
Because at the core of it, there's, we're all human.
Yes.
And you talk about sharing love. That's one thing
Yeah.
everybody can relate to. Everybody has the ability to do is to share your love and share your compassion for one another.
Yes.
Right.
And there's something about the stigmatization that just makes people look at someone as less than human. And
Right.
once you're able to sort of put yourself in that person's shoes, then it's very quickly, a lot of times, you remember that that person's human as well. And if you were in the same boat, how would you want to be treated?
How would you want
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we all find ourselves doing that in one form or another. But I think a lot of times, unfortunately, it takes some reminding for some others. But like I said before, I mean, the more conversations we have around it, the easier it is to embrace one another despite our slight differences.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I wanted to read something. I'm also on Twitter right now, and so I'm
Oh,
through.
yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, it is.
Consolee loves Twitter.
I'm on Twitter, but it's World AIDS Day, and so we're having a larger discussion about this.
Yes.
And the health secretary.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you more information. I wish I could, but he says one case of HIV is one case too many. And I think obviously that's very true. But do you feel like that sort of conversation and the capacity for this type of exposure, do you feel like it's grown significantly over the past couple of decades? Or how do you feel like the trajectory of conversation, how do you feel like that's grown over the last however long?
For me, comparing from the earliest time, the way people have had conversation around the HIV. One thing that I want to say, I'm truly grateful for many activists who came forward. Those are the ones who actually were able to make sure that everything around the HIV has changed a lot. They have done so much work to make people talk about it, have a conversation, and make sure the institutions like UNAIDS and many other, big organizations talking about the virus and making sure the medication also, the antiretroviral treatment was given to many people around the world who needed it, because there are communities in many countries around the world, very vulnerable communities where people don't have many access to this treatment. But they have done so much work to make sure that at least people, wherever they are, they're able to get access to those medication. Of course, that's not enough only to get the medication. They have to do intense education around the virus to make sure that people understand how to care people who are living with the virus, because those are the people who you can live longer, can live like anyone else. So it's not like a death sentence how it used to be before. So, and I think to me, seeing where we came from, I think there is a huge stride, to how the conversation has been so far. But one thing that I'm also happy about, we have technology, we have social medias. All these many mediums are helping to educate the world, people wherever they are in their own spaces. So I think it's helping a lot. So to me, I see a huge stride. So
you do.
You do.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people sending a lot of love to you, Doris.
Oh, I'm sending love to them.
Yeah,
I love them.
and they're sending you, they're sending you a lot of love and hugs. There's one, you said something about HIV not being a death sentence, and it reminds me something I read in your book. There's a chapter, I think chapter 17, Um, and everyone, because everyone probably knows this, that during wars and genocides, the
Right.
rape, it's one of the weapons that are, that happens against women. And in this chapter, I think it's paragraph 1, it's you mentioned, so you wrote it so well. You say you said, during the genocide, rape was used as a weapon against women with intent of infecting them with HIV. Many of them were gang raped and suffered the misfortune of being impregnated. In the process, there were also those who didn't get pregnant but contracted HIV, and worse yet, others who got pregnant and contracted HIV as well. And thank you so much for, not just advocating for, not just healing, but also teaching and bringing your heart to the world, and your voice. I think when we do this storytelling, it means that you're allowing another young girl or young man who's going through the same thing you went through, the mental struggle and physical everything you went through and survived it, to realize that life goes on.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Life goes on. So when you said it's not a life sentence, I just, like, because during genocide it was used as a life sentence. I don't think they realized that there were going to be medical experts who were going to work on this medication and not make and leave, because right now, in some cases, cancer takes people faster than HIV, or diabetes. There's a lot of other viruses or illnesses that actually kills people faster than HIV.
Right.
When you found that was the book, it was a little bit intense. Sorry to read it, but
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Because I know you're healing in that 15 years of your healing journey. I know it was not easy. It was
right.
a hard road that even looking back, you're probably like, how did I do that?
I know.
How did you do
it? You're absolutely right. Yeah.
How did you do it?
That's a very good way to put it. So it didn't come from my own strength. To me, every time I see how I was able to even, I'm not stronger than any of those women. I didn't have any, even for another woman who's not capable of speaking about their pain, I'm not I'm not way better than that woman. Because to me, it was, I'm truly grateful. It just didn't come from my own strength. It came from people who have been around me, being able to help me. Because if I didn't get, I don't know, if I didn't get that help, I don't think I would have been able to speak about it. So when I see what I've done to be able to open up about that chapter in my life that I thought I was not going to, I couldn't believe how I was able to do that. Even myself looking back, it's because I think the same way, like you think, but at the same time, I'm truly grateful that I was able, because that's why I carry every woman. I think every woman who is not capable of going there. So I empathize with them. So I feel them. I feel what they feel. So and I know how hard it is for them, really, to go through that struggle many years when you don't have anyone to tell. So
yeah. Well, I like what you say. I mean, it's the people around you and the people who you entrust, the people who love you, that also help you get through that. But that's also, it's really important to remember that I feel like a lot of us feel that we need to be special, or we need to be, this like almost
Yeah.
superhuman
Superhuman.
person to get through.
Yeah.
I'm not superhuman at all.
Well, that's debatable, Consolee.
You can be.
But no, you don't need to be
Yeah.
hyper special. You
Yeah.
anybody can get through,
Mm.
you know,
Mhm.
any of these hardships.
Mm.
Right.
It's obviously going to be difficult. You know, it's going to be a long journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it may be something that you deal with and you have to continually fight for the rest of your life.
Mm.
But it's not
Mhm.
impossible. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's not a
True.
death sentence. So long as
Yeah.
you have the hope and you know you allow others
Yeah.
to share
Mhm.
love for you,
Yes.
Mhm.
then it's not impossible,
No.
as
Yeah.
seen
As-
by you.
It's possible. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's possible. That's why I encourage anyone who has been able to overcome
Mm.
that painful ordeal in their lives.
Mm.
It's important to share. That's why stories are important. So
Yes.
we encourage each other. We support each other. So
Mm.
and that's why I advocate, storytelling. So when you share, you don't know how you're going to help anyone who, because they see themselves in you. Yeah, so that's why I did it too. So
Yeah, I'm now wondering in the last many years that you've been doing
mhm,
you've been doing public speaking and
right.
inspiring people, has you probably opened doors to people who were probably not able to share publicly but able to come to you and pour their heart to you because they feel like you can
Mhm.
understand them and probably help them heal, in their healing journey. Have you come in contact with people like that who are going through, probably including myself? I've been I know I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
What's the
Um,
highlight? A story, even if you don't mention the name, just the story that touched
no,
the heart.
I won't mention any names, so I will
Yes.
just I've actually been able to meet people. You never know when you do this
Yeah.
how the impact is going to make.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew. I never knew how it was going to make an impact until, because there are people who have become my friends,
Yes.
very close to me
Mm-hmm.
through this journey of speaking about it. So the people who have shared deeply painful ordeal,
Mm-hmm.
they've struggled many, many years. And people who are same age as me, people who are younger, who are older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you how sharing stories, is important. So for me, um, there are people also who have been able to tell the stories openly for the first time
Mm-hmm.
to the public or even amongst their families
Mm-hmm.
uh, after speaking to me. So I'm truly grateful. At least one person, I can maybe
Yes.
make a little, a difference in someone's life. Anybody can make a difference. Everybody who's here, I'm sure all of you have made a difference for what you do.
You're so
That's
kind.
why it doesn't matter how anything you do in your life,
Mm-hmm.
it really makes a huge impact in someone else's, life. To me, storytelling really made a huge impact. It made me happy to see a person who was sad at least have a smile on their face,
Yeah.
thinking that life is worth living again, and they are able to, to love themselves, and that's why we're here. We're here to support each other. We're here to empower each other
Yes.
and to help each other. So
Absolutely.
And that's
yeah,
something I think it's another good
Yeah.
reminder to show kindness to
Yes.
anybody who you come upon,
Mm.
because you are always a part of someone's healing journey.
Yes.
Even if you don't know if they're going through something,
Mm.
if you run into somebody at the supermarket
Mm.
and then you say, "Oh, I like your shoes," or "Oh, thank you for whatever." You're a part of that healing journey. They're going to remember that act of kindness, and you will inadvertently help them along their way in
right.
rekindling their own fire
Mm-hmm.
and remembering who they are as a person, so they can then share it forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's amazing to see when you you share something deeply personal to someone, how it opens a door to that person to be able to start their, their journey of healing too. So, and sometimes you meet someone, I'm sure, I've never met anyone who, I've met even few people who have saying, I don't think I want to live anymore. When someone tells you that, and you find that person at that time when they want to give up on life, and be able to make a little impact in their lives to begin to love themselves, I think it makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm here for a reason. I survived for a reason. That means I have a purpose to be alive. So
yeah, absolutely.
That makes me happy more than anything. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there's something I wanted.
And a hug, and two, that's another thing. A hug,
yes.
a kind word, because most of the time people don't need much.
No,
a kind word really
smile on the hug
makes a huge difference in their lives,
and I know
because that's all they need sometimes.
Absolutely. And I know for sure you do that to a lot of people. Consolee is a hugger. Consolee is always smiling. And there's one thing I always we talk about a lot, but I would like for you to share. There's something about, when you live with HIV, you have to take medication every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And does that sometimes make you feel like, why do I have to do this? If there's someone out there who is feeling like I'm tired, I don't want to keep doing this, or it takes them back to the worst time in their lives, which can be traumatic. What the advice that would you give them? Like your little mantra that you tell yourself. I know you have a lot of mantras.
Mantras are important. Yeah. It's as you said, when you take medication, it's a constant reminder of what you've been through, or why you're taking that medication, to me. So that reminder sometimes may take you in the darkest, deep darkest place if you don't find a way to to change the way you look at yourself. So to me, what has helped me is change my mindset, equip my mind with something nice, positive. Like you said, a mantra helps. To me, I take now medication. I started equipping my mind that I'm not what happened to me. I'm not HIV positive. So even if I live the virus, but that's not who I am.
Yes.
I'm a human being. I'm Consolee, who came here on earth to live, to laugh, to dance, to enjoy life like anyone else. So, and I changed the way I look at medication. So now I started looking medication like a vitamin to me. Whenever I take a pill, and before I swallow that pill I always tell myself, this is a vitamin. It's not a medication, it's a vitamin to me. So when I change the way I look at medication, everything changed. So that means you have to, it's up to you, you as you.
Yes.
The doctor gives you medication, but the way you think about yourselves, it's up to you. It's the work. You have to do the work on yourself to equip my mind with something positive. Affirmations help. So to me, as you said, mantra, affirmations, so it's important. So it's the way you tell yourself, the things you keep telling yourself, that really helps you to live a healthy life. To me, I wanted to live a healthy and fulfilling life and enjoy life. Like,
and
for whatever short period I have here on earth, at least whatever the moment I have, even if it's one day, I want to be happy in that moment. So
absolutely. I'm so happy you say that, because I always love the way you look at things, and I wish it helps me as well, and I feel like a lot of people can benefit from looking at things differently.
Shifting your mindset.
Shifting the mind.
Yes.
Again, it's not it's not a simple thing to do,
No.
but I mean, once you get it, once
Yeah.
you start, once it clicks in your mind that, oh, I
Yes.
can just try to shift my perspective on something,
Yes.
and then
Exactly.
you are the most
Exactly.
positive person in the world at that
I
point.
know.
You know?
I see the date here. The date, if you would like to join
Oh,
more
the date
insights,
is.
that would be amazing because you're a mental health
Oh, that would be so nice.
can
I'll be
mental health.
another positive person I love, really.
Yeah.
I really love her. Yeah.
So it would be nice to have your input. So one other thing, because there are things you do that I wish all of us will know and learn from. And sometimes you probably just could, because it's a second nature for you. You don't realize how big they are.
Oh, she says she's taking kids to swim.
Oh, she
Okay,
is.
yeah,
That's okay.
that's
Like,
okay.
um, one
Uh,
other thing for today,
mhm,
because we're commemorating the HIV/AIDS Day.
mhm,
It's World AIDS Day. I want
mhm.
for you. Would you be able to? I know you're not. I guess because you kind of become an expert on HIV, unfortunately. So that's what.
Mhm.
So we thank you so much for being
Eh,
here and sharing with us.
Yeah.
So one of the
mhm,
things we want to do is share as much information as we can for
mhm,
people in the society to understand where HIV was and where it is now, where
mhm,
how in the medical field, what the things that have changed that made a life easier, and even
mhm,
those stigmas people still are. Some people still have think of HIV like the way it was thought about in the 90s,
mhm,
and in that way that ignorance can really hurt a person who's living with HIV right now,
mhm, mhm,
because the way you're being treated, because even if people
mhm.
don't tell you, I believe that the actions speak louder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the
Mhm,
ignorance as well can hurt, not because they meant to hurt you, but because they don't know
mhm,
that their reactions or not
mhm,
knowing is also something hurtful.
mhm,
Because one of the things I learned is that because the virus works with the immune system, and we
mhm,
know, especially with the mental health experts, we
mhm,
all know that
mhm,
when you're not feeling well, when you're mentally sad,
mhm.
or your immune system goes down as well,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you can actually
Absolutely. Mhm,
affect that person's life
mhm, mhm.
without knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
what would you share? So share something.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Something positive.
Something positive.
I'm not that very good. As you said, I'm an expert. I don't think I'm an expert in terms of the healthcare, like people like I like Bedette and everyone else who know about mental health. So expert. So I speak through from my own experience. So
Yes.
as you said, that's a very actually good question. So it's the doctor gives you medication, right?
Mhm.
That's their work to do.
Yeah.
And but your mental health is important in order for you to live a healthy life, to you have to have your mental health has to be great. So you
Yeah.
have to be healthy within, so in your mind. Because if you are not well in your mind, of course, overall the medication you take might not work well. So you need to be able to, that's why therapists and psychologists are important. They help a lot. So we need them actually. So because they help us really accept what we have, and be able to to have that medication work well in your body. So
Yeah.
Yes.
and to me, I think also education is key in order to help people, society in general,
Yes.
um, to make sure, also the stigma, attached to HIV, really diminish, and maybe completely, we no longer have to hear,
Yeah.
things, the word stigma anymore.
Yes.
Education is key. Educating community,
Educating people is
society.
key.
Yes.
I think this is important also to to keep spreading, the words around, and making sure people are all. It doesn't matter whether you live with HIV, somehow you're affected,
You are.
you know, by the virus too. So every person, every individual must also take it upon themselves to educate themselves, to educate everyone around them, and talk about it, because don't make it a taboo, just have an open conversation amongst yourselves. So, and show, because that helps. I think it's for everyone to do. So, yeah.
That's a good point. That's everyone has a relationship.
Yes.
In some form or another. Whether they have it or not, whether they know somebody who knows somebody who has it, there's a relationship there. And it's important to update your education and your knowledge about it. Because I think about my knowledge of HIV kind of stemmed from what I heard other people talk about, which is generally like from the 90s. And there's a lot of scare and taboo around it.
Right.
And so if I didn't take any initiative to sort of update what I thought I knew about it, then I would probably still be thinking, other people's thoughts. I didn't have my own thoughts about it. So it's very important to update your knowledge and to educate yourself on the matter. And I think Badet had a
really
comment.
good comment. That one.
It's important to highlight how many people have the wrong impression of HIV, especially with advancements in healthcare. Many people need to know how it's completely changed this virus. It's 100% true.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah.
That's 20 plus years, almost 30 years of advancement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what was maybe true 20, 30 years ago is not true.
It's not us. Yeah.
So you owe it to yourself and the community. First of all, stop spreading the negative and the false,
educate yourselves, because so many things have changed. Yes, you're right. What she said,
absolutely. And then she said, people don't know about things such as like being undetectable means they don't know the benefits of meds. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and then she said something else.
She says maybe don't believe one can live a completely fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. What she said.
I know which, but I know she has to be with the kids too. That's important. That's really nice. It's like, I think that's why we did this today, and I think people almost think it's, if you don't have HIV or you don't have somebody close in your family who don't have it, then it's not your problem.
Yes, that's right.
Until it's home.
Until it hits home,
home. And that's why we need to be able to,
well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but not even when it hits home, but when you have to talk about it.
Yes.
Because if you find yourself having to talk about HIV, but you don't know what you're talking about, and you're supposed to give informed information,
information,
then you don't benefit anybody in that situation.
No.
But there's one thing I also think about, especially for the young people, that they, there's this thing also about, there's a medication. You have to, now you can leave. They will do whatever they want because they think there's a medication. So it's important also to listen to healthcare, experts. Talk what they say about how to prevent from people getting infected, to minimize the numbers of people who are getting infected. So instead of saying, there's a medication, I can just live well with the medication, but just to reduce the amount of people who get infected with the virus. So that's why it's important for young people to educate themselves, to educate them actually. So about the way of preventing that. So to be cautious and what they do, and be responsible, in their behavior. So
that's a great point, Consolee. Now, that Consolee takes me to, that point takes me to a fun part of this conversation about dating, So it's something we talk about all the time.
I see someone, the comments here, but that says something, prevention is the most important.
Yes.
We shouldn't minimize it. And Jacques said something, prevention and testing are critical. Yeah, that's
Yes, yes.
mhm.
All of those things are very important as we do
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
educating ourselves on how where your HIV was and the virus
Right.
where it is right now,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
knowing the testing is easier now. The prevention, there's a lot of things you can do to prevent genocide. I'm sorry, to prevent HIV because we know
Yeah.
because we know I'm rambling here because the more
Mhm.
information you have about something, the more you can be able to prevent it or
Mhm.
so it's always important to educate ourselves on
Mhm.
issues the things are happening around us.
Right.
Yes, and we have a point. You were going to say something before I move on to the next point.
Well, no, I thought you said you were going to talk about dating.
Oh yeah.
Or
I
even
was
dating?
curious about
Yes.
Okay.
You know, you want to know my experience around that as a person who lives with HIV. It's not easy when you are HIV positive, like myself. On in the dating world,
Yes.
because of that's why education is important um, to learn. You know, like educate yourselves. You know, education is key. So
Yes.
that's why when people are educated, also your lifestyle or the way you live life and also is becomes easier also. So to me, through that journey also of meeting people and I have discovered, you know, that there are people who need education around that. So, because someone, there are people who have been scared by the time they hear that, they'll be like, ah, you know, but they won't tell you directly. They will actually find a way to not necessarily continue, even if they might like you, but you can tell. Of course, I don't know what it is, but when you have gone through, you know, you have gone through that, you know how to read people. You
Yes.
can read, uh,
Yes.
it becomes easier to read how a person reacts to things and what you say and how they react to you. So, actually, to me, I learned to not take it personal. If I will find ways, even if I find that person to say, hey, you know, it's okay. This is how, you know, it is with when you're, you know, HIV. That means, and actually for what Bedell said, because of how things have changed around the virus, so you you can live with the person who is not living with the HIV, who's HIV negative. So now it's possible for the two people
Yes.
to live together.
Intercourse.
So
Um,
yeah,
so
and
now,
have kids, and if they want to. So
yes. So
yeah.
now, what would people so with the medication now, it helps
Mhm, mhm,
to not so when you take the medication,
mhm.
it not only it helps your immune system and everything, but also it stops the
The virus from
the virus from
multiplying.
spreading.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
immune. Is that how do you say? How would you?
Actually, the CD4 counts, what they say that you have your CD4 counts, the cells, you know, the cells in your body,
Yeah,
you know, actually it kills
HIV.
the it minimizes the virus to increase in your body. So
Oh, I see.
Oh,
it kind of it weakens the virus in your body.
yes.
It kind of slips. It's almost as if I don't have the virus, but because it's not, you know,
Cured. Yeah,
yeah. But if you stop taking medication, of course, it will be a whole
it
different
grows.
thing.
It
So
comes back.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's
It
what.
might take a little longer, but it might. That's why it's important to also follow your healthcare provider,
Yes.
your doctor. So you know instructions. So I have to make sure that I take medication on time and be healthy mentally, physically.
Physically,
So
I
of
know
course,
physically you're the most healthiest person. You try to work with Consolee in New York City.
yeah.
Like
She'll
oh
leave you
my gosh,
behind.
she leaves you behind. She's really fast,
That's
and
good.
and I'm always like a dog walking behind her. So
Yeah, no, you know, it's so funny. I realize when you take care of your mental health,
yeah,
somehow everything you become strong. So to
you,
me, I don't know. I barely get sick about anything, so I'm always a active person. So
yeah,
I think I am.
yeah.
So
No, you're very yes. So that was the dating part I was gonna ask.
That's great. No,
Yes.
I was very
you're
impressed.
Yeah,
curious
I like
about that part.
because I know it took you a long time to. I remember we used to have a lot of conversations about dating, like,
Yeah,
and you didn't really like it. You didn't even want to hear the idea of dating. Yeah, so it
no.
took you a long time, and I'm always happy that now we
Mhm.
can say it with a smile on our face. So
You know,
I've
it's so
embraced it.
funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It took me many years to be comfortable even talking about um, even that dating, the word dating, or thinking, because I wasn't, you know, I went through the journey of accepting that I'm allowed myself
Mm,
to do that like anybody
yes.
else. So to enjoy life like anyone else,
Yeah.
to you know, to dream things like that, you know, to wish to think about that too, to
Mm,
have that thought in my head
mm,
like anyone else. So because that's what I wanted, I want to heal. Because for me, it wasn't not only about HIV, it was
yeah.
about everything,
Yes.
right?
Everything. Yeah.
HIV. So,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, oh, I didn't cause this to happen to me. So
Mm,
it was something horrible happened to me. So
yeah.
I had the trauma of being raped and also the trauma of
Yeah.
living with HIV. So, and to me, I had to heal from all those things. So,
Right.
Yeah.
um,
I know.
when even thinking about men in general, so
Mm,
it was a struggle for me. I
yes.
had to heal from that. How, you know, because the image of the
Yeah.
way I was brutally, you
Yeah.
know, raped, and that those images
From
for
a very
me,
young
I
age.
have to heal from that in order to go to that space where
Mm,
I can trust that male person around me
I
and be in
know.
the same space. Of course, I everything is psychological also for me. So I
Yeah.
had to go through that journey of healing that, and also loving myself, and you know, trusting also that yeah, I can, they are okay, they are fine. Not everybody's like that. So
Yeah.
there's beautiful men out there who are loving, who are not,
Kind and yeah.
who are kind, who will love you, will care about you, and
Just,
yeah, like that. Like Alex, he's beautiful. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
that's
So it was, and then
yeah.
I have male friends, very
mm,
close male friends
yes.
who I've had a conversation with.
Yeah.
I've been to several dates in my life, so
I know.
that I've had amazing conversation with incredible humans
Yeah.
that we went deep and talked about it, and the way they hurt me really. And some of them are still my close friends. So
Mm,
that's why I have male friends in my life. So they are very
yeah.
um, important. It's important for me to have them in my life.
Yeah.
So because we talk about things, you know, deeper things, and appreciating, be vulnerable and be open. And I am,
Someone who,
yeah, I love them. I
yeah.
love them.
There's another kind
Yeah,
man who wants to join.
I know.
Mr. Mr. Leonce, you know, he speaks French.
Leon,
He may start speaking French. You have not.
I know
He will
he
be
speaks
joining.
English very
Yeah.
well.
So
Leon,
I'm very happy that life is
can you,
life is very interesting. He's not here yet, but when he comes, I will. Oh, he left.
Maybe
Oh, he's joined.
yeah,
Look,
it'll
he's
be a
here.
second here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Lewans. he will be. I think his internet is not going great, but he will be coming on. I'm so happy that you go on these dates. We talk about them. It's wonderful. It's fun. You're living your life. You know?
Not only going on dates, it's important also to have build, male friends,
Yes.
best friends. So,
Yeah. Male best friends. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's important. Yeah.
We can try to add him. I had help and behave around a loved one.
Oh yeah. Well, we have a question.
What? Oh, okay.
Maybe you should try again to put him back on.
So Ange Mohoza, Ange Mimi Mohoza asked, how can one help or behave around a loved one that lives with HIV?
That's a very good question. So, I think people who are living with the virus, who are HIV positive, they're always sensitive about the things. Oh, I think someone is coming back.
I think it's Laurence. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Laurence. We're speaking in English.
Yeah.
Okay, the question, I think that was one question. Yes, Consolee, he will be coming on once the internet, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's driving. Yeah. So it's that's a very good question. When you are HIV positive, of course, you are very sensitive with the things people tell you. I think it's important to show them love. Be kind to them, like the way you would be kind to any other person, and when someone gives you, if there's that person he says when he gets home, I think he'll be
okay. It's okay.
I think for someone who lives with the virus, they're always sensitive about what people tell them. It's important when you have a loved one with the virus to show them love, kindness, and be there for them, listen to them. Yeah. Because the best thing that you can give to that person is I love you too.
Oh no, Nagakunde.
Bagukunda, yes. We Consolee, our friend Elizabeth is trying to come on.
Yes.
We're trying to get her to come. She probably has wonderful questions, and I can't wait
We're trying to
accept her. Sorry, your answer is amazing, and okay, keep going on. We will try to get her on. Yeah.
Yes, please. It'd be just the best gift you can give to a person who needs you is the best gift is to listen to them. Be there for them, be present, show them love and kindness. I think if you show them you are there for them, you understand them, and encourage them to love themselves and to know that life is worth living.
Yeah.
I think it's important. It's important to do that. It really will help that person. And I think that's how you can be there for that person. Not really much you can do is just being there for them, love them, and bring a smile to their face and make sure that they're themselves, they love themselves. I think that's the advice I would give to someone who wants to be there for them.
And how about talking about it? Is this something you feel comfortable about? Like what's like what do you maybe depends on where a person's healing journey is to be able to talk about what
I think it's also important to create a safe space for that person.
Yeah.
to share what they
Yes.
feel within themselves. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes all you need is to feel like the space is safe for you to share what you feel within yourself. So
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's Elizabeth Stewart.
We're
They're
still
trying
trying
to
to.
We're
have
trying to have Liz.
They won't say, please come, we're waiting for you. Thank you.
Liz, we sent you a request. Please accept it. It should work. Yeah. Thank you so much, Consolee, for all these wonderful tips you're giving.
I love you.
I
You know
love you
that.
too.
Yeah,
I love
thank you so
more.
much for speaking. Thank you so much for speaking so frankly.
I
You know, a lot of people are curious. A lot of people have questions
Yes.
about how they can support people and how can they themselves, you know,
Yeah.
continue this conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if they may be a little uncomfortable or don't
Yeah.
know how to exactly navigate it. But I think that you've helped a lot of people
Absolutely.
achieve a higher level of understanding today.
Yes.
Thank
You
you.
have.
Thank you. Thank you. And another thing is, you might find, because there are people who live alone too, who live, I mean, when you're alone, sometimes it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's important to also check on the person, even if you don't live in the same space, check on them. Because people, depression also can lead to suicide, especially when you have that pain within yourself.
Yes.
You contemplate suicide in your mind. So, and it's easy to have those thoughts in your head. So it's important to be there for the people and listen to them and give, open the space for them to share with you. And I think also be understanding that people don't necessarily share the same way. There are people who don't even have, because people react differently, because people may be erratic, they may be all kinds of, behavior that is not probably appropriate to some people, but be understanding. Be understanding. Instead of saying what's wrong with that person, say what happened. I want to know, I want to be there for you. I want to understand you. I want to, yeah, I think being compassionate really is important. Yeah, being compassionate and empathy. It's something, having empathetic heart is really it's really helpful for that person. Just check on anyone you think that has gone through unusual behavior. Just check them.
That's very
Check
true.
them and
Yeah,
be
check on
and
them.
if that they might be drinking, they might be doing all kinds of unhealthy things they are doing to themselves. So just be there for them.
That's very true. This life can be complicated.
It can be tough.
It can be tough. It can definitely be challenging, and the friends can help uplift you from whatever you're going through. And I know for a fact that you are somebody who does that for so many people.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I try my
best. So, who was the person? You don't have to say the name, but somebody during your healing journey who kind of made you feel like life is worth living. Maybe I'm feeling down, but it's time for me to to love my life, to go through the healing, to even start a healing journey, because sometimes we don't even know how much wounded we are, and when we do, that's when we start our healing journey. But when we don't know, then we just stay there. And they say sometimes that misery loves company.
I know. There's actually a person here who is alive, who is listening to us. She's one of my best friends. I would say I see her like a mother figure to me. She's incredible human being that I wish anybody can have in their lives. So she's live here. I don't know if she wants to she's a psychologist, a therapist. So she lives in Orlando, Florida. She's also a professor of social work the University of Southern California. She's listening to us here.
Yeah.
Her name is Elizabeth Swart.
Oh, she was trying to join us actually.
Oh yes.
It was her.
Please try to have her on.
We couldn't get
She's
her on.
one of my wonderful, dearest friend. I love her to death.
So many wonderful things about her. So
yes.
I feel like I know her already. I think that's why I said I saw a friend. I feel like I know her.
Yes, please try to see if you can bring her back. You know.
I will try.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Yes.
Yeah, keep trying. Please come, my dear friend. I would love for you to come here and say some words, especially as a person in the field of social work too. So. She's been around so many great people and
the techniques she used to make you feel this
around people.
You know.
Yeah. So she's not only she became my best friend, you know, one of like a mother figure to me. So I love her. So she's one of those people that I think has helped me to love who I am and to accept and even understanding, you know, how I should love life again. So I'm pretty grateful for her. God bless her. I love you.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on here. I saw.
Oh,
if
perfect.
She's able to, she would join us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I wonder if it's the first time she's done live. I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
It's okay. So how did that journey begin, and how did it make you? How did your life internally change?
That's a good question. So of course, through that journey of loving and accepting everything, so of course it didn't happen overnight. Like people would hear, they might think it's something that happened quickly, but it was a journey for me. So I love what Dr. Brené Brown, we love her so much. Me and Elizabeth is one of our favorite persons. So she's also her fellow social work.
Yes.
You know, it's social work. So she talks about owning your story and to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a weakness. To me, when I allow myself to be vulnerable, allowing myself to go through that journey of feeling every pain, everything within myself, and go through that journey of accepting what has happened to me, to see that I'm not what happened to me. So, and through that painful, even though it wasn't easy, but not giving up, just to keep moving, it really helped me to, when I got to that place where I felt like now life is worth living. Now I'm happy. Now I can smile. Now I can look in the mirror and put on a makeup and feel fine. So, or I can dress up and have like a nice, dress, or I can just, dance and just be with people and be silly and be myself. And, like it's just allowing my personality to be seen, just be me, it really, it made me happy. I felt like I was a newborn, Yeah, it was like a new birth to me. So to see a different version of me, now I started consoling the young person me I was before in my in my teens, 20s, where I wasn't happy. I was just struggling with the pain. I started speaking to that to those young people there. So and to console them, to say, hey, just look at me now. So I'm there for you. So I'm looking for you.
That is very special.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. You have one more question, or the English version? You have something? Okay. So what's your message to everyone who's listening right now,
Yes.
before we go into the Kima Wonder version,
Yeah.
what's your message would you like to give to people who even
Yeah.
watch later, or just
Mhm.
anyone who's struggling through something,
Mhm.
anything, any trauma in their lives?
Right.
What message? I know you have a lot of messages. We're also gonna touch this book because
Yeah.
it's a genocide survivor's story of pain, resilience, and hope.
And hope. Yeah.
Yeah, we all need resilience and hope.
All the time.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
what's your message? Yes.
You know, there's one, you know, I liked recently what you were talking about my favorite person, Maya Angelou.
Oh, yeah.
Maya Angelou is one of my favorite humans lived on earth, really. Knowing her story, knowing what she has gone through, and her messages on life and how to live life. There's one quote I love about her. She said, I may not control all the events that happen to me, but I refuse to be reduced by them. To me, that's one of my favorite quotes from Maya
How
Angelou.
they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I live, you know, with that mantra. That quote really uplifts me. It makes me feel, yeah, that vulnerability. We're talking about owning your story and be brave, you know, loving yourself through, you know, through that journey, you know, through that journey of obtaining your story, owning your story. So to me, that quote really embodies everything that I want to be. You know, I wanted it to be, and I became right now. So, and also another thing that I want to, which is my mantra. So that's my own mantra.
Yes. All right, go girl.
It's yeah. I always remind people this. No matter what horrible circumstances you may face in your life, never lose hope. For losing hope is the beginning of your own self-defeat. That's my message. Oh.
I think that's your Maya Angelou type of quote.
That's my Maya Angelou type.
Yes. And also, there's something, the Maya Angelou one you mentioned about not being reduced about what happened to you. And as you were saying it out loud, I remember Ange's question about how you can treat your loved one, and that was just, I was like, that's also a quote you can use in treating other people. You know, not looking at the things that happen to them, but not reducing them to those things that happen to them. Yeah, you know, that can completely change it can stigmatize whatever they're going through.
It can change the narrative.
Yeah, it can change the narrative. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
No, I feel like
I don't know if my friend Elizabeth. What happened to my friend Elizabeth?
Oh, you're waiting for her. I think she might not be available.
She's not available.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not. Okay.
She's not.
But I'm happy she was able to join us. Everybody who's here.
I know.
I love you.
Everyone, thank you so much for wonderful comments. Love.
Thank you so much for joining in. We had a lot of people, a lot of good questions, a lot of people waving. I wish we could have waved at everybody.
Oh, let me use my wave.
We see you, everyone, and we love you. Thank you so much.
And we send you good vibes and love.
Hi, Grant. Thank you so much. Never lose hope. Yes, it can definitely lead to your demise. Yes. Thank you, Jacques. We all need hope in our lives. Thank you so much. Oh, Liz, Consolee. It's here.
Oh, I say all your friends in Orlando say, oh, I love my friends. I love them. My Orlando people.
I love to hear from Liz what the techniques she used to make you feel the way you felt in the beginning of your journey, your healing journey. But for another
she knows when we met. I was I was a hot mess. Yeah, she knows.
I remember when I was reading the other day, was
Yeah.
it something that might be Will Smith who said, "You can
Yeah.
be a hot mess and be a messenger."
Yes, I
Time.
love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot who said that.
Who said what?
Who said that? You can be a hot mess and a messenger at the same time.
I know somebody at the same time, you know. So.
Oh, actually, me, what you want another book? I'm trying my best to see.
Consolee, please write another book about this healing journey of yours, because we all need
This
it.
healing and everything. My Orlando people.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mignon. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you. I love
Best
you.
friend here. Thank you so much for being here all these hours, spending an hour and 20 minutes with us. It was an hour.
And one thing I want to say to all my, every friend, every person who is here, all my friends,
Yes.
I'm truly grateful for your love and kindness.
Oh.
Everyone who have taken their time to read my book and really means a lot, really. And I'm truly grateful for your love and kindness, really.
Yeah.
And being there for me, and really, your love means the world to me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
I love you back.
Thank you so much for the love, and we love you back. As we like to say here at Much Love, I am you. We are you. You are us.
Yep.
We're the same. We're human. We are humans, and all we can do is support one another and uplift each other's souls, spirits. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So thank you for giving us your warm.
We need each other.
We do.
Loving
We
one
need each
another.
other. Yes.
Yeah. I am you. We are as, we are.
Yes. We're feeling.
We are a mirror of each other. We are a mirror of each other.
We
so.
are. We are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you. We're tuning in the next. We're gonna take a small break and then go into our Kinyarwanda version, because this is a topic we also, I think, and you think too, that our community back home also,
Yes.
needs to hear, because I know we use the different languages, Swahili, French, whatever, but we're gonna use the Kinyarwanda to communicate.
We are coming. Once you're coming in Kinyarwanda. No. We have.
Don't go, Leonce.
Don't go. You want to come now for the English version? No. We are coming in Kinyarwanda for Kinyarwanda version.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
The part, the Kinyarwanda part. So.
Absolutely. Consolee, today we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for having me. I want to thank you so much, and you are truly my angels. I really love you so much.
You are my angel too. I do. I was like,
you are my babies. I love you.
Talk soon. All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.